I'm Leisha, and today we're going to be talking about the Sephora Pro Editorial Palette. Oh my god. So as you can see, I'm in my household right now. I wanted to get this video up to for you as soon as possible, and I just didn't have time to go into my office today, so different background. That says create, if you were wondering, because I know it kind of is cut off a little bit. If you've missed my last couple videos, I reviewed the new Sephora Pro Cool Palette and the Sephora Pro Warm Palette, and today we are showing the craziest one of all, which is the Editorial Palette. For those of you who have not seen my last videos, these are the new palettes from Sephora Pro. They come with 28 eyeshadows each, and they are $68 a piece. I got them because I heard they were amazing, and I wanted to see for myself, because $68 for a Sephora product, from a Sephora brand product, is a little bit of a high price tag in my opinion, so I had to see what the hype was about. So far, we've talked about Cool Toned Palette and the Warm Toned Palette, and both of those really exceeded my expectations. This palette is insane. The packaging is this matte black, and it says Sephora Pro on the bottom. I've mentioned this in the other videos as well, but each of the Sephora Pro palettes has a different color metallicness going on. The Cool palette had a silver metallicness for the logo, the Warm palette had a gold, and the Editorial has like a holographic blue. It's awesome, and I love this because then you have them all next to each other, you know exactly which one is which. When you open it up, you get a fantastically large mirror, and it's really, really nice for traveling. It's beautiful, easy to use. And then the actual colors in this palette. Let me just take a moment to show you this palette. You get so much craziness. It's so exciting. There is almost an equal amount of shimmery shades and matte shades. This has a lot more shimmers than any of the other palettes. It has some colors that are just more shimmery, some that have sparkles in them and glitter particles. There are, hold on, let me just tell you right now. There are 4 freaking duochrome colors. Did you hear me? Did you hear this? 4 duochromes in this palette. And not just like any duochrome. These are my holy grail, white with a shift. If you guys ever bought from Naked Cosmetics the Ivory collection, the Kat Von D one that came out recently, Moonstone palette from Anastasia, that's the region we're talking about here, and they are in this palette, which makes me love this palette more than I possibly can explain. It makes me really appreciate it because I love duochromes, and I've been saying for the longest time, like I remember telling Urban Decay they should come out with a duochrome palette, and look, Kat Von D beat you to it. I told you years ago to do this. Listen in, Urban Decay, I told you, and now it's a huge thing. I knew it. I knew it. Anyways, there's also tons of bright colors here. I mean, look at this pink. Holy moly. There's a ton of just, oh my gosh, there's so much good stuff here. So let's just get right into it because I am so excited to share it with you. Just so you know, these are finger swatches because there's just so many colors here. I just wanted to get you as many pictures and all this stuff out as soon as possible. There are brush swatches coming up over different bases, but I did want to just show you the colors straight up. So these are finger swatches. The first row is all very light colors. All of them are amazing. The first shade you get is this matte white, but it's quite pigmented. It worked really well in the look I'm wearing today to just soften up the edges. The next 4 shades are the most amazing in this whole palette, in my opinion. I'm so happy that they are here. These are all duochromes, and they are phenomenal. You want to change up any of the colors here, you throw a duochrome over top of it. You want to totally change the way that your look looks, put one of these colors in the inner corner, put one of these over a white base, put them over a black base. I can talk about duochromes all day long, but I won't for your sanity and your wanting to get on with this review. The last 2 shades here are incredibly sparkly. You have a very sparkly white with silver, and then you have a very sparkly gray silvery goodness going on there. I love that row. That row makes me so happy. The next row are the brightest colors in all of the land. Oh my goodness. The first shade is a good like juicy orange juice shade, and I'm just obsessed with that second shade because it's so weird. It's like a red, but a pinkish red, pinkish orangey red, a flamingo color almost. And then this amazing raspberry shade that is just so beautiful and rich. And then of course the color that probably everybody looks at first when they open this palette is that insane electric neon pink. absolutely amazing. And then you get 3 purples. You get 2 purples that are matte. They are different shades, but when they're next to each other, I mean, one runs more pinkish, one runs a deeper purple, more bluish. When they're next to each other, they don't show up totally different. And then the last shade is actually a more shimmery, frosty shade, very pigmented. The third row is all of your greens and blues. The first shade is actually a really interesting color because it's this very light, it's almost like a key lime pie. Super shimmery, but it's a very light pastel green. I love it because it's so unique. And then you get literally electric lime green, like watermelon shades here. The next shade is the most amazing matte teal. You also get this gorgeous shimmery green. And then you get 2 mattes. One is more of a darker teal, and then you get this cobalt blue. I was a little bit disappointed with this cobalt because it reminds me of Chaos from Urban Decay, but the pigmentation is not, it's definitely the weakest color that I've seen in this palette. And then the last shade is a shimmery, more navy blue. Bottom row is all shimmers. Fantastic colors here. The gold, holy bejesus. If they're like, you could just get this palette strictly for that gold. The glitter in it, the shimmer in it, it is so gorgeous. This raspberry shade as well. It's more mauve-y than raspberry, actually. I take that back, but it's got this beautiful pink shift to it. You get this fiery red that is stunning. It's got gorgeous shimmer, this olive green, and then you get a black that is mostly matte, has a little bit of shimmer, but has mostly silver sparkle to it. I have no words. I'm so happy that they came out with something like this. It is so different from what we're seeing. We're seeing a ton of warm browns right now. That is the theme. Lots of companies coming out with these warm, neutral colors. Naked Heat, for example. Not saying it's bad. I really do like that palette. Kat Von D has a new one that is her Shade and Light palette, but shimmery. It just is making me bored, and I've been feeling for a long time just bored of not feeling inspired at all with the eyeshadow palettes that are coming out. This palette is an exception. All 3 of these have been phenomenal, but this palette in particular is so good. Like I've mentioned in my previous reviews, I recommend using somewhat of a sticky base, especially with these mattes. When you put a brush in here, you'll definitely get powder, so they are a little bit powdery. The shimmers are so good. You don't need anything for those. They are fantastic, but the mattes do need a little bit of help and a little tender love and care, so to speak. The look that I have on today, I really wanted to highlight some of these duochromes. I used some of the blues, I used some of the matte teals because they're so amazing and they blend really nicely with the shimmery colors, which I think is really important. And then of course I need to use some of those pinks, so you got the pinks on the bottom part as well. So here is the tutorial for this editorial palette. I'm going to start this look off with a dark base. I'm using NYX pencil in Slate. I bet you didn't know I had more than one NYX pencil, but this is Slate, and I'm blending it out. I started off blending this out with a brush and then realized that it's going to blend out easier with my fingers just because of the heat from my fingers, so I recommend definitely using your fingers, make it nice and soft, blend it out really nicely. The first color I'm using here is this shimmery navy blue. I'm just packing it onto the outer and inner corners over the darker base, leaving a space in the middle because we're kind of going to do a halo effect for this look with the duochromes. I decided to mix the green and blue duochromes for the center just to give it a little bit of a pop. I love the blue one and that's what you see most, but I do like how the green adds a little bit of dimension here. I'm also using a blending brush just to blend out the edges to make sure it's soft. For my crease color, I'm using this matte dark teal and using a blending brush to just blend it up into the crease. And I did this up until the highlight kind of area and then took the light teal and just used it around the edges to soften everything up. Once I've applied my crease color, I'm taking the matte white and putting it on my brow bone, and then I'm going to kind of take it on a blending brush and sort of blend it downwards into the crease so that the two kind of can coexist here. So I'm using that teal and the white kind of on and off to blend them on the edges to make sure everything kind of blends out really nicely. I definitely had to use some of the pinks and purples in this look, so I'm using the lower lash line to apply this purpley shade and then blending it out with the darker purpley shade and then taking that hot pink and applying it into the center of the lid. I'm also taking the red duochrome to just blend out the edges along the pinks, and then I took the bright silvery white on the inner corners. Now I'm just blending out all the powder under my eyes to make sure I didn't make a mess. Taking that dark purple along the lash line just to add a little bit of dimension, and then taking that sparkly black right along the top lash line to make sure that my lashes end up looking okay. These lashes are cheap from Amazon. Put those on, fixed my hair, and there you go. In conclusion, I love this palette. Even just to use as like a little bit of an accent color here and there, just to have these shades, I think it's totally a winner. I think it's definitely worth checking out. This is a great palette to experiment with color, to experiment with mixing different textures, mixing mattes with shimmers, and mixing in duochromes, playing around with that. I would recommend also having either a cool or warm tone palette, whether it's the Sephora Pro or not. I was just missing the transitioning shades. I understand why they're not in this palette. I am really happy that there was that matte white. That kind of was my saving grace here. I like making sure that there is something there to kind of, a matte shade, something to make it so that it can kind of rein everything in, and that was definitely what the matte white was for me. But I'm so excited about this palette. Everything that I've used, it's blended great, everything is applied great. Like I said, the only thing it really needs is a little TLC when it comes to the mattes, but the colors are so cool. They're so bright. So use an eyeshadow base, use a sticky base like NYX Milk, or a dark color, an eye pencil, the Inglot liners, something to just have it stick nicely, and you're good to go. So that is my review for this palette. I hope that you have enjoyed. If you liked this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Make sure you click that subscribe button below and that notification bell so that you can make sure you are here. Next week, I've got a Makeup Geek review, I've got another Misguided review, I've got a shoe haul. I gotta do another makeup reads video too, so I'll do that next week as well. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all the support, and I'll see you next time.